Morning, kids. It's Melissa Bishop, and I'm here to tell you a story that comes from the book of Ruth, and it's about kindness. And I want you, while I'm telling this story, to figure out in the story who's being kind. Naomi and her husband had two sons. Their family traveled from Judah to Moab in order to find food. In Moab, one son married a woman named Orpah. The other son married a woman named Ruth. Naomi's husband and both sons ended up dying. Naomi knew that Orpah and Ruth were very young and they still could marry again. So she told them both they could go back to their homes and back to their families and just leave her alone. Orpah returned home, but Ruth said, "Nope, I'm not leaving you, Naomi." So Ruth and Naomi traveled to Naomi's hometown in Bethlehem. They needed food, so Ruth went to the fields to pick up the leftover grain. God had made a law that people who owned fields would leave grain on the ground so those who needed food could come in the evening and gather it. The field where Ruth gathered grain belonged to a relative of Naomi's named Boaz. Boaz asked the man who was in charge of his workers who Ruth was. Boaz could see how kind Ruth had been to Naomi, and he told her she could gather grain whenever she needed to. He even offered her more food. He gave her roasted grain and even bread. And at the end of each day, Ruth was allowed to go back to the field and get more grain so Naomi would have food. Ruth continued to work in Boaz's field until all of the grain was harvested. Naomi knew that God had set up a special way for Boaz to rescue her family. Naomi told Ruth to visit Boaz in secret. Boaz was sleeping, but when he woke up, he saw Ruth. Ruth asked Boaz for protection, since he was responsible for their family now. Boaz said he would help Ruth and Naomi, but there was another family member more closely related to Naomi than he was. Boaz went to the man and to the town elders to see if he could buy Naomi's land and marry Ruth, and the man agreed. So Boaz and Ruth were married, and Naomi came to live with them. A short time later, they had a baby named Obed. So, who do you think was kind in this story? I think there was a couple of people. First off, Boaz, because Boaz let Ruth get grain from his field so they could feed Naomi. And then, who else was kind? Ruth, because she stayed with Naomi. She could have left. She could have gone back to her family. She could have remarried. But she decided to stay with Naomi, and God ended up blessing them tremendously. So for this week, I want you to figure out how to be kind to somebody. Make it like your whole week that you're trying to find somebody to be kind to. A brother, a sister, your mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, a friend, your aunts, your uncle, your teachers. Just find a way to be kind, because when we're kind, it makes the heart of God happy. Have a great week.